5 minutes after my fiancé proposed, I heard him in the restaurant bathroom on the phone saying, "Yeah, I did it." She said yes. 2 more months until her trust fund kicks in. The ring was still warm on my finger when I went to the bathroom to fix my makeup. Happy tears had ruined my mascara. The restaurant was packed. Everyone had clapped when I said yes, and I was floating. Then I heard his voice through the men's room door. "Yeah, I did it." She said yes. Pause. Her dad set it up so she gets access when she's married or turns 30. She's 29, so 2 months max. My stomach dropped to the floor. $500,000 tax-free, worth playing boyfriend for 2 years. I stood frozen in the hallway. A waiter brushed past me carrying champagne to our table, the free bottle they give engaged couples. No, she has no idea. Thinks I'm some romantic who fell for her personality. He laughed. I know, right? Like anyone would marry that without the money. I walked back to our table on autopilot. He came out 30 seconds later. Huge smile, kissed my cheek. "You okay, babe? You look pale." Just overwhelmed. Happy tears, you know? Should we call your dad? Tell him the news? Of course he wanted to call my dad. "Secure the bag. Tomorrow," I said. "Let's just enjoy tonight." We ate, we drank champagne. He held my hand and talked about venues while I nodded and smiled and felt nothing. At home, he passed out immediately. Champagne always knocked him out. I went through his phone. Easy password. His birthday. The texts were all there. His best friend. Can't believe she fell for it. His brother. Just don't sign a prenup. And someone saved his work gym, who was clearly his ex. "When you get the money, we can finally be together for real." I screenshot everything. Emailed them to myself. Then I started planning. The next morning I was bubbly. Called my dad, gushed about the proposal, asked if he could meet us for lunch to celebrate. Chris was thrilled, probably already spending that trust fund in his head. At lunch, after we'd ordered, I stood up to make a toast. "Dad, Chris, I'm so happy we're all here. Dad, you know how much that trust fund from Grandma means to me?" Dad nodded, confused about why I was bringing it up. "And Chris, you've been so patient, waiting for me to get access to it." Chris's smile flickered. "In fact, you've been talking about it since 5 minutes after you proposed, on the phone with your ex, about how you're only marrying me for the money." The color drained from his face. I pulled out my phone, hit play on the recording I'd made of him in the bathroom. His voice filled the restaurant. "Worth playing boyfriend for 2 years, like anyone would marry that without the money." Dad's face went from confused to murderous. "The wedding's off," I said, pulling off the ring and setting it by Chris's water glass. "And Dad, you should probably review those trust conditions with your lawyer." "Already did," Dad said quietly. "Called him this morning when you told me Chris had been asking about the trust details last month. Funny thing, there is no marriage clause. Never was. I made that up to see if he'd stick around once he thought there was no money." Chris's mouth opened and closed like a fish. "The trust is accessible when she turns 35, Dad continued. "Or if something happens to me. That's it. No marriage clause, no early access. You played yourself for 2 years for money that doesn't exist." I actually felt bad for Chris for about half a second. Then I remembered, like anyone would marry that without the money. "Here's what's going to happen," Dad said. "You're going to walk away, quietly. No drama, no revenge posts, no nothing. Or I'll send these recordings to your employer, your family, and that ex you're planning to run back to." Chris stood up so fast he knocked over his water, left without a word. The trust fund wasn't even that much. Grandma left me about $50,000 for a house down payment someday. But Chris heard trust fund and invented $500,000 in his head. He texted me that night. "Can we talk?" I replied, "Talk to work, Jim. I'm sure she'll console you." Then I blocked him and opened a bottle of wine.